Hi there. I'm just going to go over a few basics just to make sure you know them before I go into anything more complicated. On this Illustrator document here, if you look on the screen in the upper right, I have three layers. I have a logo layer, a rowboat layer, and what I've called a tracing layer. The first thing I'm going to do here is to get proficient at Illustrator. What you might want to do is to pick out a piece of artwork. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hide the rowboat layer. I'm going to show the logo layer here. I'm going to click on this little triangle next to it and twiddle it down. And I'm going to bring up some different logos I have here. So the first one I'm going to do here is, let's say we do the Apple logo. I'm going to click on the little eye icon to make it visible. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something that you might not know about. I'm going to turn this layer into a specific kind of layer. And that layer is called a template layer. Now what that does, it locks the layer from any changes, and it reduces its opacity down to about 75%. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the little twiddle arrow here by logos, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to click on the tracing layer. I can't draw on the template layer, but I'll put a layer above it so I can draw or practice tracing this logo to get proficient at the tools. So I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. I'm going to go Command or Control plus. I'm going to hold my space bar down and get my hand tool so I have it right here in the center of my screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, I'm going to click in the Tools panel, and I'm going to find my Pen tool. Now here's something you want to immediately do if you haven't done it. If you haven't changed it in Illustrator, the default tools are called the basic tools, and you won't have all these tools. So what I suggest, at the bottom of the Tools panel, it says Edit Toolbar, and up here in the upper right corner of this pop-out menu, there's a hamburger menu where you can set it to Advanced. And then what that's going to do, let me bring that back here, Window, and I'm going to pick up my toolbars here, Advanced. And that will bring these tools and show you all the tools that are available. Then I'm going to pick my Pen tool. I'm going to come down below my tools, and I'm going to make sure on the fill color here, the square in the upper left, I'm going to click to None. I have black automatically selected for the stroke or that the pen tool is going to make, so that's what I want. So now I'm going to look at this logo here. Now this logo is pretty hard because there's so many curves. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So if I'm going to draw this logo, I'm going to trace it. So I'm going to put my pen tool here. We'll say I want to put an anchor point here. And I know it's not going to be a corner point. It's going to be a curve. So I'm going to press and hold. And I'm going to drag out on what's called a direction handle. And I'm going to drag it out on the angle that I want the path to leave that anchor point. Now, how far do you draw it? Well, you draw it 1/3 the distance that you're going to actually try to complete. So I'm guessing from here to here is about 1/3 that distance. Then I'm going to come over here, and the reason I picked this point is because the direction is changing. I went up, I'm coming down, so I'm going to add another anchor point here. I'm not going to click. I'm going to press and drag out another direction handle that controls this half of the tangent of that path. Now, right now this direction handle is pointing down here to like 8 a.m. but the path is going up. So what you have to do is you have to hold down the Alt or Option key, which gives you this inverted V tool. And I'm going to press on that handle, and I'm going to drag it up towards the direction I want it to go. And I'm going to guess, how far is it from here to here, where the direction changes again? I'm going to come over here and guess, and I'm going to press and hold, and I'm going to pull the direction handle down till it mimics the tangent of what I'm trying to do. Now, these can be adjusted after we get done, so I'm not going to panic about it. Now I have a path that thinks or wants to go in this direction, because that's where the direction handle is going, down. And that's not all bad. Let's see if I pull my selection or my pen tool down here, where I'm going to add another anchor point because it's a complete change in direction. I'm going to press and hold, and I'm going to pull it over a little bit and wiggle it back and forth until I can see if it can get pretty much lined up with the edge of my logo. Alrighty. Then the direction handle is going over here to like 330. See that right there? That's kind of the angle I need. So let's go up here, and the next change in direction I'll say is right about here. So I'm going to press and hold, and I'm going to pull out the direction handle. I'm going to move it back and forth, and we'll zoom in on this in a second and check it. So let's say that's pretty good. Then I'm going to come over here, and this is my next change in direction, so I'm going to press and hold, and I'll put down a little direction handle, and I'll come up here, and I'm going to say this is the beginning of the new direction, and I'll pull it up. And this is nice because it's going on the same tangent as this, so I'm going to come up to this corner point, which is a change in direction, and I'm going to press and hold, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Now, if you make a mistake and you don't want that anchor point there, if you hit delete, it will delete that path. But the problem is, if you delete it, you have to reconnect to the last anchor point. And so when you hover over the last anchor point where you want to reconnect the path, you'll see this little horizontal, this little slash line next to the pen icon. That tells you you're reconnecting to an existing anchor point. So I'm going to press and hold, and I'm not drawing the path, I'm just drawing the direction handle again. So I'm going to guess that this is that's pretty close. Let's see. We'll go up here, and I'm going to press and hold, and I'm going to move this back and forth a little bit till I think it's pretty good, and let up. Now we've got a situation here where my direction handle is going off here to like 1 o'clock on the clock. But I need the direction handle to go in this direction to make that bite out of that apple. So again, you have to hold down the Alt or Option key, get on the handle and aim it or drag it in the direction you want that path to leave about 1/3 of the distance. So you could come here, or you could come here and try to drag out the anchor point. Let's see if we go up here to this anchor point and press and hold. And I'm not going to worry about that other path that's going wonky on me here. I'm just trying to get this one done. Now here's something important. This direction handle here on the upper right controls this part of the path. This direction handle controls this part of the path. So there's kind of a teeter-totter effect. Now I have a problem because I've changed this, or it's wrong now. So how do I change it? Well, I hold down the Alt or Option key, and I press on this handle, And because I have the Alt key or Option key held down, I can change that direction handle without affecting the other direction handle. And I'm going to let up. Then I'm going to move my mouse and I'm going to go over and click in the toolbox. It's a very top left tool called the selection tool to see what I have. So now let me zoom on this a little bit. I'm going to go Command or Control space bar. And it looks like this first anchor point I put down should have been over here. So you just can't use the selection arrow to press and drag, because the selection arrow selects all the paths and all the anchor points as if it's a single entity or a single selection. Let me undo that. Control or Command Z. So you have to go back now and use a different tool. It's the second tool up on the top on the right here. It's called Direct Selection Tool. Now what that does, it's going to allow me to go back and pick and directly select individual anchor points and paths. So you can see by these anchor points, see how they're all a solid color? That means they're all selected. I don't want that because I want to move this one. If I move this one right now, it moves everything because everything is selected. So I have to click off, hover back over the anchor point I want to change, press and drag and move it around a little bit till I get it where I want it. Now I may have to come over here on this direction handle here and press and drag and move it around and get it kind of the way I want it to be here. And then I might have to take this one. Whoops! Gotta re-click and take this handle. Whoops! And take this handle and move it down a little bit. And that kind of moved this one a little bit. So if you only want to move one direction handle at a time, remember you got to hold down the Alt or Option and click, let up, and then you can move it independently. So that doesn't look too bad. Not too bad at all. I probably should have put an anchor point up here because I'm not really getting this here. I'm not really getting that curve in there. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to hit the Delete key and delete everything and start over. So I'm going to go back to my pen tool and I'm going to look at this a little bit closer. Let me zoom up here a little bit. It looks like this is a curve, not just a corner. So let me think how I'm going to do this. Let me come over on this side where the curve starts to change, and I'm going to drag up a direction handle, and I'm going to see if I can come to here. And I didn't do a very good job, did I? Let me delete that again. See, there's a lot of trial and error at the beginning. One thing you want to remember when you're working with Illustrator is not to draw everything absolutely perfect the first time you go around something or try to draw something, because you never will. It'll drive you crazy. So what you do is you go through here and you find out when is there a change in direction. I'm going to say, how about here? And I'm going to pull it up. Now notice that's pretty good. I'm going to hold down my space bar here, which gives me my hand tool temporarily. I'm going to move this up. And I'm going to look at this and how far can I come down before I need to make another anchor path. Another anchor. What I try to help my students understand is the fewer the anchor points you put down, the better your drawing. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to press and hold. And I'm going to pull out my direction handle and see if I can get that kind of lined up. Now, I'm getting this bottom half pretty good. This isn't too bad. Let me come down here. Let's change. Here's a change in direction. So let me come here and pull this over. And let me see if I can pull this up to here. And then maybe here. And then let's see, change it here because it's kind of changing in direction here a little bit. Here's where it's going to start to change the direction again. And I'm going to go up here. This is where it's starting to change upward again. So let's click here or press here and drag out an anchor point. Let's see, how far can I go up this? Well, let's see if we can go all the way up here. And press and hold. Not bad here, but this isn't very good. I'll come back and fix that. Let me move this over. So here we have that situation here where I need the direction handle to go back this way, but it's going this way. So I hold down my Alt or Option key. And I re-aim it back here, and I'm going to pull this handle out about a third of the distance I think I need to go. So let me press about here for a change in direction. And I'm going to go up here and see if I can get this to be a path I can match. Let's see here. I might have, well, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, now we've got this situation here where we've got the direction handle going off here. We really need it to go back this way. So I'm going to hold down my Alt or Option key and click, let up, and I'll aim this back, let's say kind of in that direction. See, here's a change in direction. So let's see if I can go up here and pull this out. I don't like that. I'm going to undo. Command Z and go back. The problem is I have dragged this direction handle too far out. So I'm going to probably try to go here, and then here, and then this direction handle's too long. See how it's looping back to here? So I'm going to click here. Then I'm going to go back to my direct selection tool. I'm going to get a hold of this handle, and I'll see if I can't curve that a little better and click on this one, and it looks like this handle's way too big. Let's see, click here again on the path, get the handle, and bring her down. Let's hold the space bar and drag up here. I don't like this gap here, so I'm going to click on the path, which shows me the direction handle. This part of the path is pretty good, so I'm going to work on this direction handle. Whoops, missed it again, sorry. Handle, and snug it over a little bit. Then I'm going to go Command or Control 0 to fit in window, and I'll zoom up a little bit here. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you're laying down curved anchor points, and you try to drag those direction handles in the direction you want the path to leave, the anchor point. Remember, you're going to drag out the direction handles about 1/3 of the distance you think the path is going to be. And that's all a big guessing game. And the more you work in Illustrator, the better you get. Again, I want you to use the fewest number of anchor points for a better looking drawing. If you put a lot of anchor points in where you don't need them, it looks like it's going to get a little choppy. So think of anchor points as an evil thing. Only put anchor points down when you absolutely have to, and when you're going to change the path's direction. Okay, so that's good enough for now. I just wanted to show you this tracing layer. Now, if I go back here, I can hide my logos layer, and there's the actual artwork I have. Again, it's just stroked with black and filled with nothing. But I would try to use this tracing method to take 2 or 3 simple shapes or logos and go in there and practice with the pen tool, recreating those logos to give yourself a comfort level, because you're going to use your one hand to drag and move the mouse around and the tools on the screen, and you're going to use your other hand to hold down the space bar when you want the hand tool to move the whole drawing, or you want to go ahead and hold down the Option or Alt key to adjust maybe some anchor points or direction handles. It's just a thought that I'd share with you. Thank you.